This week on the Technophiles Newscast, we're talking about Apple's new privacy announcement, shrink-wrapping yourself in outer space, hacking photosynthesis, the Internet of Things, and the first inklings towards technology-enabled telepathy. I'm David Geisler. Let's get ready to melt some minds on the Technophiles Newscast. So last week, Sean and I recorded this kind of epic two-part episode on the Technophiles podcast about the iPhone 6 and the Apple Watch. It's not a secret that Apple's kind of been in the news lately about, wibbly-wobbly security issues. So they just announced a feature in iOS 8 which protects all of your local information, even from Apple. You know how you use a PIN or a password to get into your phone? Apparently, even Apple doesn't know what those passwords and pins are. It's all stored right on the phone. Usually Apple's products get a lot of attention for all of their designer-ness, but we shouldn't forget that they're just like every other company. I mean, at the end of the day, it's their job to care about our security. Oh, I just feel so secure right now, don't you? When it comes to science, we pretty much know what happens to our bodies if they are exposed to the cavernous vacuum of outer space. However, with movies like Event Horizon and Gravity, a lot of people might have a distorted idea of what happens out there. I mean, according to the Magic School Bus, for example, your head turns into a solid ice cube. The function of a modern-day spacesuit obviously is to keep you pressurized and really to keep you warm. It's those two things at the end of the day. Like your own personal little body spaceship. So it's kind of cool that MIT might have a solution to the pressure thing. They've created a shape memory alloy. I mean, basically memory alloy just means when you heat it up, it goes back to its original form. You can pull it and push it and bend it, but it can always go back. So the new suit's gonna be pretty tight on your body, and it's going to give you an impressive amount of mobility. Significantly more mobility than these kind of weird, hingy kind of suits that we have now. There's only one kind of technicality here. The suit fits to you tight and firm, and as you move, it starts to become more malleable. So does that mean you have to stand there for a while and do a little bit of micro yoga, get your body moving, and once you're all warmed up, you can go be a spaceman? We don't know the details, but I'm sure MIT is pretty excited about where it can go. So we, the human race, already use a lot of the Earth's land for farming, and of course, as we get more humans on the globe, we need more food. So we need more farm land. There's obviously only so much land, so we need a new idea. So maybe we look at it the other way around. If we can't increase the land, maybe we can increase the plants? Well, there's a group of scientists that think they found a way to increase photosynthesis in plants. And of course, what does better photosynthesis mean? It means a more efficient plant. More plants! So what they've done is they've actually taken rubiscus out of a bacteria and they've introduced it to, in this case, a tobacco plant, and they've found that it works. We've got super tobacco. Tobacco is commonly used as a test plant. It's not like they're specifically looking to make more tobacco, but it works here, so it can work with other plants as well. Can somebody get a hold of George Clooney, because I'm sensing an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes situation here. As it goes with scientific development, there is kind of a hitch. The plants are really good at photosynthesizing, but they're so good that there actually isn't enough CO2 in the air. So at least for testing purposes right now, what they've done is they've taken the plants and put them in CO2 chambers just to see if it works. It's almost like our natural atmosphere doesn't have enough food for the plant right now in some ways. So they're seeing if these plants can live on their own without a carbon dioxide chamber. So you may have heard of the idea of the Internet of Things. The idea that refrigerators can talk to coffee makers, which can talk to your car, which can talk to your local supermarket eventually. Everything's connected. So Amin Arbabian at Stanford University has created a chip. It's smaller than an ant. If you took a penny and looked at the word trust, it's smaller than that. I mean, it's like, there, I can blow it away. They can send and receive data, and they only cost a couple cents to make. They're so small that they actually have a pretty limited range. However, they're so inexpensive that the idea is that you could potentially put hundreds of these things up in, for example, your house. It would be like hundreds of little mini Wi-Fi routers all talking to each other, almost like neurons in your brain. Yes, welcome to my home. Do you feel it? Do you feel the internet all around you? For that matter, these little chips can even go into every smart device, and that might even make a pretty substantial network on its own. The big issue here, obviously, is standardization. Basically, at the end of the day, you need to make sure that your refrigerator is speaking the same language as your coffee maker. The Internet of Things. And for our final story tonight, we're going to be talking about sending your brain over the internet. Kind of. A team of scientists from 3 different universities from Israel, France, and Spain have been working on a project that allows you to record some output from your brain and send it to someone else and let them get it as input. So the way this works is these scientists have taken two people. One person looks at a screen and sees a cursor move up and down a screen. They tell the person, think up, think down. Now this kind of think up, think down, make the cursor move technology, that stuff's been around for a while, but this is where it gets interesting. The scientists record that, turn it into ones and zeros, send it across the internet. The receiver wears a helmet that then stimulates their brain, and they effectively see these ones and zeros. It's a little bit tricky, and it's important to point this out. That person doesn't necessarily see a cursor moving up and down in front of them, but they get the signal. It manifests itself as their brain thinking they're seeing flashes of light. Very cool. So I mean, this is just the beginning. This is an on and an off switch essentially, but we're sending it from one brain to another. So, you know, kind of think of it as like Morse code, but only the receiver can see it. Because it's not happening in the real world. Their brain just thinks that it's happening. Still, it's pretty cool. If you think about the leaps of technology we've taken from Morse code to full-on internet, if you apply that to this technology, right now we get information on our screens, pretty soon it's going to be our glasses, then it's going to be contacts, and this might allow it to be earpieces that talk to our brain. Alright guys, that is it for this week's Technophiles Newscast. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe down below. The show was made by these fine people right here. Remember, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook and our actual website, technophilespodcast.com. We'll see you next week. Hey guys, if you like this episode, be sure to check out some of our older episodes. This is last week's, this is the week's before, or you can subscribe. I'll just sit here and wait for you to do that. I'll wait for you to do that.